Hello, this is Brother Rich with eLearning Brothers. Today I wanted to showcase for you a course that we entered in the Demo Fest at DevLearn last week in Las Vegas. We were honored to win Best Soft Skills Solution at the show. The course we entered was a custom course that we had developed for Franklin Covey. The name of the course is Schedule the Big Rocks. This is choice 3 of the 5 choices to extraordinary productivity. If you're familiar with Franklin Covey content, very compelling and engaging personal development learning experiences. So we really wanted to capture some opportunities for the learner in this case to really get a chance to engage with the content. Let me show you how we did that using Articulate Storyline. Kind of get a sense here of how the course was built out. I've opened several tabs here in my browser just so I can jump around a little bit. We've got some locked navigation here, so I wanted to get past some of the other screens to maximize time. This concept of the 5 choices, and specifically choice 3, scheduling the big rocks, is really about effective time management. The idea being the little rocks in your life are those things that are the less important things. They kind of the things that you do that take, that happen at the expense of the more important stuff. The big rocks in your life are the important and major things. They may not be necessarily really urgent, but they're very important. The analogy or the metaphor that Franklin Covey uses is, think of a large container. If you had to take all of these big rocks and all of these small rocks and put them inside of a container, if you put the big rocks in first and then you add the small rocks or the pebbles, they'll kind of filter down through all the little nooks and crannies that are left by the big rocks. However, if you put the little rocks in first, then you're not going to probably get all the big rocks in. You won't fit everything in. So Franklin Covey does a great job of explaining this concept of making sure you're taking time to schedule these big rocks. The learner needed to have this experience where they understand this 4-quadrant model regarding important and not important, and then urgent and not urgent. So I'll show you some examples here. If you're always operating in the important and urgent quadrant, that means everything is a crisis. So how do you get out of that? If you're in that mode all the time, and many of us probably feel like we are, you're going to be, it's ulcer city. So very challenging to live that way all the time. Quadrant 3 is the quadrant of distraction. It's not important, but it's urgent. So somebody comes in my office, they have a need for some help. It's really not important to me, but it's urgent. And they're my buddies, so I'm going to help them. Well, if I'm living in quadrant 3, I'm still not getting things done because I'm just addressing interruptions all day long. That could be an email that comes in or a phone call. Quadrant 4 is waste. This is the trivia, the busy work, the time wasters. This is not urgent and not important. So if I'm hanging out in this quadrant, spending a lot of time on Facebook during the day, or I don't know, maybe I'm just playing games and stuff. I need to make sure I'm limiting breaks in my day so that I can really focus on quadrant 2. And quadrant 2 really is that quadrant of high productivity. When things are not urgent, but they're important, when I'm operating in quadrant 2, I'm really making things happen. So let me show you how we helped really drive this point home with learners in this course. One of the learning objectives for the course was that the learners had to not only identify their big rocks, but then schedule them. That was a critical thing for us and for our client. Let me show you how we use Storyline to help do that. So we talk through this concept of the big rocks. We discuss how important it is to actually calendar your big rocks once you've identified them. We make sure the learner knows we're looking for what are the 2, maybe 1 or 2 most important things I can do in my role in a given week, and then get it calendared. So we come here, we talk about the most important place they need to be, and then we have them think about their own role. So in this case, I'm a director at eLearning Brothers. One of my big rocks is I want a customer satisfaction survey in place, and I want it going out every few weeks. I also want to put some audits in place. I want to audit the work we're doing, and then I also want to put a new CRM in place. So those things are important to me. Those are my big rocks. So we remind the learner what it means to be in that upper quadrant, and this is what we were proud of. Those items I entered earlier are now clickable and draggable here on this screen. So now I'm going to have the learner actually calendar it. So maybe this one's going to be at 7 a.m. I'm going to come in early on Monday. I've got a time slot on Wednesday at 9, and then on Friday, maybe I'll stay late and get this one done. So we really were able to accomplish the learning objective using Storyline to create that dynamic. Thanks for your time, and I hope this was